Hey guys, I'm going to make Colorado's exclusive right to buy contract super simple to understand. First, I'm going to explain to you what it is, and then I'm going to briefly highlight the key points that you want to know about. So by signing this contract, it's essentially an agreement between you and an agent to work together. It's important for you as a buyer because this contract provides transparency as to what the agent and the brokerage's duties are to you. It also allows the agent, when the time comes, when you find that dream home, this contract allows the agent to speak and negotiate on your behalf. So I'll go more into detail on some of those points because they're going to be highlighted here in the contract. So let's dive right in. So starting at page 1, it's a buyer agency agreement dated. I just put my Instagram name as the buyer section for now. And then the agent and the agent's brokerage will be there. And our first important section is going to be at the bottom of page 1 and the start of page 2, section 3. This is the listing period. What this is saying is how long you and your agent are going to be working together to find a home. 6 months is pretty standard for this section, and I think it's really exciting because this is starting that trusting relationship between you as the buyer and you as and the agent. So the buyer is saying, I am actively seeking to find a home, and the agent is saying, I'm going to work hard to make that happen for you. Our next important section is going to be section 5 and 6. So section 5 explains the brokerage duties to the buyer, and section 6 explains the specific agent duties to the buyer. The real estate commission put this all in the contract to protect buyers because once both parties sign this contract, the agent and the brokerage now has fiduciary duties to the buyer to promote their best interest. Those fiduciary duties are obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accountability, and reasonable care and diligence. I had this section highlighted as important because there's many ways for buyers to get out of contracts, and section 5 and 6 is one of them. If for any unfortunate reason your agent wasn't fulfilling their duties to you, you could go back to section 5 and 6 and say it's a breach of contract. So let's keep going. So that's the transparency section. Our next important section is section 7. This is compensation to the brokerage firm, and this explains how the agent is going to get paid. In most cases, the seller's agent and the seller are paying the commission for the buyer's agent and the seller's agent, so the buyers are not paying anything to the agents. Now, that's the case in this contract, but make sure you check with your agent that it's the same case for you. So quick overview of section 7 so you know exactly what you're looking at. 7.1.1 is the percentage that the seller will be paying to the buyer's agent. Keep in mind 2.5 to 3% is standard, so this is subject to change. The seller's agent and your buyer's agent can negotiate that. And section 7.2.1, there's usually going to be a transaction fee paid to the brokerage, so make sure to check this number so there isn't any surprises for you at closing. So to summarize, in this contract, my buyer will only be paying a $259 transaction fee at closing and nothing else to me as the agent or my brokerage. But as always, double check section 7 with your agent. Next section that I want to point out that is important is going to be section 9. So this is the buyer's obligations to the broker. This is stating that the buyer is not currently in a relationship with another agent. You cannot sign 2 of these contracts or multiple of these contracts with agents. So you'll see that that box is not checked and has not. And the last thing I want to make clear here is section 21. So all this blue writing right here, what this is stating is it's not the real estate agent's duties to inspect the home. The person whose duty that is going to be the inspector. So you can see there's lots of writing. So let me make sure you understand that. The way that it works when you buy a home is that you're going to put in an offer. When you find that dream house, you're going to put in an offer and the agent's going to negotiate for you. If the seller's agent and the seller accept your offer, there's going to be an inspection date coming. So that's typically 7 to 10 days after the offer is accepted. Now at that point, all of that blue little writing, it's the inspector's job to make sure that that home is ready to go for you to move into. Now, again, I said before, there's multiple ways for a buyer to get out of a contract. This is one of them. There could be something wrong with the roof, the draining, piping, anything. Or it could be something as small as you get the HOA documents and you didn't know that you weren't allowed to put a treehouse in the backyard and you really want a treehouse in the backyard. You can say, that's not going to work. I'm out. The contract is not valid anymore. So that's what that blue writing stands for. It's saying that it's not the agent's job to inspect the home, it's the inspector's job. But all the way up until the inspection point, a buyer can get out of the contract if something does not look right to them. But that inspection date is very important, so make sure you talk to your agent about getting a really good inspector. And then all to do, everything is done online these days, so it's going to be usually on DocuSign or some other form. You'll click and sign your name, and you are now in a agreement with your agent. So I hope that makes that contract a little bit easier to understand. It's pretty simple. It's basically all that small writing and small print is to protect the buyer and make sure that the agent is doing their best job and having the buyer's best interest. So I pointed out the key points, but as always, make sure you read everything before you sign a contract. Of course, discuss it with your agent. And if you have any questions, always reach out to me and let me know. Thanks, guys.